Is there any film, I mean, really, any film more woven into our collective memory than The Wizard of Oz?
It's hard to think of one.
Seriously, from that house spinning in the sky to, those glittering ruby slippers, it feels less like a movie we all watched and more like a shared dream.
And what's so fascinating is that while it feels so timeless now, you have to remember its historical weight. This film came out in 1939.
An incredible year for film.
Oh, a year of cinematic titans.
That's great.
You would have Gone with the Wind coming out too. So this wasn't just some children's story. It was a massive, incredibly ambitious musical fantasy from MGM that basically redefined what spectacle could even be.
And that is exactly our mission for this deep dive. You know the songs, you absolutely know the witch's cackle, but we want to get past the nostalgia and really appreciate it as this monumental artistic and technical achievement.
Right.
We're going to peel back the layers of this. Well, this cinematic onion with a rainbow at its core. See the artistry, the pre-CGI innovation, and just the profound heart that makes it still work almost a century later.
We'll be looking at the genius of its structure, how color itself basically becomes a character in the story. We'll also get into the, frankly, insane technical challenges.
Oh, I can't wait for that part.
It required so much human ingenuity, not digital tricks. And then, of course, we'll explore the alchemy of the casting and the deeper themes that suggest, the power to change our lives was inside us the whole time.
Okay, so let's start with that structure, because it's so elegant. It all begins with Dorothy Gale, who just feels completely unheard in Kansas.
Utterly misunderstood.
And the film shows us this visually, right? It's all in sepia tones, which is like this perfect shorthand for dreariness, for feeling trapped. Her world is literally monochromatic, so she dreams of a place over the rainbow.
And the transition that follows is, it's just one of the most brilliant narrative devices in all of film history. That moment, Dorothy opens the door
From the sepia-toned farmhouse.
and steps into Oz. The screen just explodes with vibrant three-strip Technicolor.
And you have to understand what a huge technical hurdle that was. It wasn't just, oh, this looks pretty. It was the ultimate storytelling tool. It makes the land of Oz this place of, heightened emotion and fantasy.
It makes it literal.
Yes, exactly. It's an immediate physical reality for you, the viewer.
And this is a really crucial point our sources get into. Technicolor in 1939 was unbelievably difficult and expensive.
I can imagine.
The camera itself was a monster. It required 3 separate strips of film running at the same time, and the lighting you needed to capture those bright colors, it was blinding. It generated so much heat on the set.
So that one moment, that one door opening, is actually millions of dollars and countless hours of work.
All poured into a single gasp-inducing moment.
It's amazing they didn't just keep the sepia longer to save a bit of money, but the contrast is what makes it so powerful.
It's worth every penny. And that color immediately sets up the quest. Follow Linda's advice, follow the yellow brick road to the Emerald City, and find the wizard.
And along the way, she collects this perfect trio for her own internal journey.
The scarecrow seeking a brain, the Tin Man an emotional core, a heart, and the cowardly lion who is just so conflicted, seeking courage.
It's such a simple, beautiful structure.
Yeah.
Each one of them represents a piece of psychological wholeness that Dorothy needs to see.
And that whole journey, it leads to this spectacular moment of, disillusionment. The wizard, this symbol of all power, is revealed to be a humbug.
It's a normal guy.
Just an ordinary man hiding behind all this elaborate machinery and spectacle.
And that revelation is the whole point of the movie.
It is. It's the pivot. The disillusionment is necessary because the real magic wasn't coming from the wizard's gifts. It was in the characters realizing they had the power all along.
And we can't forget the slippers. They were silver in the book.
A simple change from silver to ruby done for one reason, to maximize that glorious color effect on screen. The real destination isn't the Emerald City. It's the mantra. There's no place like home.
I was genuinely shocked reading about how they pulled off the visual effects. I mean, the details are just unbelievably low-tech compared to today.
Oh, complete.
We're so used to CGI doing everything. But the effects in Oz were handmade, they were ingenious, and that gives the film this, this tangible, enchanting texture.
Absolutely. The commitment to making fantasy feel real was total. I mean, think about the tornado.
Right.
It had to be huge and menacing. It wasn't a computer graphic, obviously. It was a 35-foot-long muslin stocking.
A giant sock.
A giant sock, basically. Spun and controlled over a miniature Kansas farm.
That is just a wonderful piece of ingenuity.
Yeah.
A giant sock as apocalyptic weather.
And what about the iconic yellow brick road?
Let me guess, not real bricks.
Not even close. It was just painted onto the soundstage floors and the flying monkeys, which terrified generations of kids.
Still terrify me, to be honest.
They were managed with complex and very visible wires, a much more physical, demanding technique than just, creating a digital model.
And then there's the melting of the Wicked Witch. It's
Yeah.
probably the most iconic death scene in cinema.
It's incredible. And it wasn't a camera trick. It was a practical effect. They used a sinking elevator platform hidden under her dress.
So she was literally sinking into the floor.
Exactly. While a bucket of, basically molten wax was poured around her to create that immediate, visceral sense of melting.
Wow. That dedication. It also extended to the costumes and makeup, almost to an insane degree.
You could even call it masochistic dedication for the actors. The Cowardly Lion's costume. It was made with real lion fur.
Oh no.
Imagine how hot that was under those intense Technicolor lights.
When the Tin Man's makeup was even worse, wasn't it? Jack Haley's makeup was this aluminum paste. Well, no, the first actor, Buddy Ebsen, had the paste and was nearly hospitalized.
That's right. He had a severe allergic reaction. So when Jack Haley took over, they used an aluminum paint instead, which caused a really bad viral infection for him, and the suit actually started to rust.
Suffering for your art. I mean, the actors were physically embodying the constraints of the technology they were working with.
Which brings us to the directing. It's a bit complicated. The film's credit mostly goes to Victor Fleming.
But he wasn't the only one.
No, he took over from Richard Thorpe, and crucially, he was briefly replaced by King Vidor for the Kansas sequences.
And why was that so important? Why bring in someone just for Kansas?
Well, Vidor was a specialist in that kind of naturalistic, grounded filmmaking. He knew how to get that dusty, realistic look of the Depression era. Fleming was brilliant with the spectacle of Oz, but you need that grounded anchor for the contrast to really work.
So despite this revolving door of directors, the vision somehow stayed unified.
It did. The focus was always on a thrilling pace and balancing the wonder, the humor, and that really vital edge of terror.
It's amazing that a film with such a turbulent production feels so cohesive.
Yeah.
And I think that cohesion, it really comes down to the alchemy of the casting.
Well,
That's the soul of this film.
absolutely. Without these specific performances, the whole thing just falls apart.
And at the center of it all is Judy Garland. She was only 16.
Just 16. And you see this performance that's a mix of childlike wonder and this really gritty determination. Her vocal power is incredible, of course, but her performance of Over the Rainbow isn't just a song.
No, it's pure emotion.
It's pure, palpable yearning. It grounds the entire fantasy. It makes her journey relatable to anyone who's ever felt trapped.
And then you have the trio. It's a masterclass in physical comedy and pathos. Ray Bolger, Jack Haley, Burt Lahr. They just had this instant, believable chemistry.
They created these incredibly iconic but also really vulnerable characters. I mean, think about Burt Lahr's lion. He's trembling and sobbing through the whole film.
Complete mess.
And yet when he's confronted, he delivers that hilarious, self-deprecating line, put him up, put him up. His whole search for courage is so moving because he's so completely ridiculously vulnerable.
And then you have the perfect duality of the witches. Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West is. Well, she's terrifying.
For kids in 1939, that was unfiltered terror. The green skin, that cackle, it grounded the stakes of the story in real fear.
And she's perfectly balanced by Billy Burke's Glinda, who just sort of floats in with this ethereal authority and a voice like tinkling bells. They're the absolute extremes of good and evil.
A simple moral compass for Dorothy's journey.
We also have to talk about the genius of Frank Morgan. He played 5 different roles.
5. Professor Marvel, the doorman, the cabbie, the guard, and of course the wizard himself.
And that's not just a casting quirk, is it?
No, it's fundamental to the film's theme. Morgan, in all those different roles, he embodies this idea of illusory power and kindly humbuggery. He is the physical manifestation of the idea that appearances can be deceiving and that authority often relies on spectacle, not real substance.
And the music. We can't talk about the soul of this movie without the music from Harold Arlen and E.Y. Harburg. The score is the film's beating heart.
It's completely inseparable from the narrative. The songs don't just stop the story, they advance character and theme.
Right. Over the Rainbow is the anthem of longing.
We're off to see the wizard is their bonding march. And the trio's songs, If I Only Had a Brain, a Heart, The Nerve, they're these witty, self-deprecating character studies that perfectly explain what they think they lack.
And beyond the big numbers, there's the score itself. The underscore is just a masterful tool for tension. The witch's theme.
Ooh, it's So menacing.
Just a few notes, and it's instantly recognizable. It provides that sense of dread, even when they're supposed to be safe. It's classical scoring, but elevated for fantasy.
It binds the whole spectacle together, emotionally.
So if we look past the surface, that simple idea of no place like home, what is the deeper, hidden meaning that keeps us coming back to this story? It's really all about self-discovery, isn't it?
Absolutely. The real insight is in the wizard's final actions. He doesn't actually give them any powers. He just provides symbols.
A diploma for the scarecrow.
A testimonial, a medal for the lion. He helps them recognize the qualities they already had. The movie is profoundly about overcoming that feeling of being an imposter.
And realizing the power you're looking for is internal.
And that friendship and unity are the real tools you need to overcome fear.
That diploma for the scarecrow is such a genius piece of writing. It's just the external validation, the piece of paper, that lets him believe in his own intelligence.
And speaking of the writing, the screenplay itself is a marvel of craft. The writing team brilliantly streamlined L. Frank Baum's book, which is very episodic. They created this perfect circle structure.
The structural echo. That's what makes the ending so satisfying. The people and the problems in Kansas perfectly mirror the characters in Oz.
The most famous example, of course, being the stern Miss Gulch on her bicycle, transforming into the Wicked Witch of the West on her broomstick.
It frames all of Oz as Dorothy's interior landscape. It's a dream where her real-world fears and relationships are magnified.
And you have to connect this back to its time. Released in 1939, right on the eve of World War II, still in the shadow of the Great Depression.
A very troubled world.
And this movie's message: find strength in unity, face your fears with courage, and understand the importance of home. It resonated so deeply. It offered hope and a sense of internal strength when everything outside felt completely uncontrollable.
So The Wizard of Oz is so much more than just nostalgia. It's a feat of collaborative genius, a landmark of cinema that proves the power of handmade effects, and a story that comforts us with the idea that what we're looking for is often already inside us.
And the big takeaway is that the journey itself, the friends you make, the obstacles you overcome, that is the real transformation. So the next time you watch it, try to look past the familiar songs and the Technicolor. See it for the monumental piece of filmmaking it is.
A permanent, glittering piece of history.
Exactly. It promises that if you have the courage to venture over the rainbow, what you find is yourself.
And here's a final thought for you, our listener, to take away. If The Wizard of Oz, a story we all feel we know by heart, reveals itself to be this complex and technically monumental, what other seemingly simple cultural touchstones in your life might be hiding just as much artistry and unexpected depth, just waiting for you to look at them again?